Okay, all good.
Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker this evening, David Pond. David Pond is an astrologer, author, speaker, and workshop leader. David has a Master of Science degree in experimental metaphysics and has published 9 books on metaphysical topics, including Astrology for Beginners, Llewellyn's Little Book of Meditation, Astrology and Relationships, and Chakras for Beginners. He does have some books over here for purchase. You can speak to him about that after the lecture. David has been practicing astrology for over 45 years and consults with clients, helping them work with their astrology to find meaningful and fulfilling lives and to strategize through times of transition. He lives in Olympia and he can be found online at davidpond.com. And I'm just going to set up his screen share here for him. And then I will turn it over to him. Does everything look good on the Zoom in?
Yes.
Let's see. Laura.
Double click on the calculated chart. What do you need to do? Just the chart.
Always something.
Come on, give me the edge of that. All right. What's really weird because there we go. I want to make this big. Go. Is this place cursed for tech or what? It's not letting me stretch it. That has never happened.
Good, right there.
Is it good?
Right.
That's, we're gonna have to go with that.
Wow, thank you. Technology is so great when it works. And when it doesn't, not so much fun. I was thinking, I'm just so glad to be invited to speak tonight. The first time I spoke was in 1978. Laura's mother, Maggie Nalbandian, invited me to speak at the WSAA behind Astrological on the app. So it was just a few years ago. I'm a blue collar astrologer, I say, because I work. That's my wife and I, Lori, if you could stand up just half a second. We really run this business together. Lori contacts all clients, runs all the charts, handles all the appointments. As you astrologers know, that's a lot of our business, just connecting, advertising, gathering, and all of this. And that frees me up to interpret. So I've been blessed and probably done over 35 to 40,000 charts in a number of years. And that's what I do. I speak. Pardon me? Oh, I'll just speak a little louder. I'm not good with the microphone because I keep moving it. So I'll just speak louder. And if I drift, raise your hand and I'll pick it up again. So here we are. Find how to do we all find ourselves in, isn't it? How many we look at this year, I want to ask a couple of questions. How many people have had increased eye phenomena in their life? Their dreams, psychic, telepathic, woo-woo stuff, Twilight Zone stories. That wasn't there yesterday. Now it's there, and no one's here in the house, and it moved, and it's from my father. How many people have some? Are you getting increased woo-woo? We say affectionately in our field because it is woo-woo. Well, that's, I think, what's going on astrologically. And every astrologer in the country and the world is talking about this topic. You have to keep me in there. I'm being fenced in. That's fair. That's fair. But every astrologer in the world is given considerable thought. Everybody in this room is given considerable thought to what I'm talking about tonight. I can't tell you how not to run any stress. I popped 2 cold sores this week just getting ready for this talk. After 50 years, you think you can't be nervous about talk, dude. Oh yeah, you still do. Anybody pop talk, you get that pre-talk, why do we do this energy, right? But I can talk about how to shift it. But you know what I do in a talk like this? I'll get up at 3 a.m, a couple of months in a row before a talk. And I'm going to research everything. I'm going to listen to everybody. I'm going to read everything I can on the topic of tonight. Most of you have done this too. Most of you have heard these stories. So I thought, well, what can I contribute that hasn't already been contributed, and probably better than what I have to say? But I do have a different track that I want to go with tonight in terms of where I think things might be shifting. And it does deal a lot with psi phenomena. I think that we are on the verge. Here's the punchline. I'll give you the end of the talk at the start. We are on the verge of a consciousness revolution. Mass awakening. More and more people aware of access to information that isn't 5 century. How many people in this room consider themselves 5 cents? See it? You can believe it, or multi-century. See it only, multi-century. You're all multi-century in this room. You wouldn't be listening to astrology. But that's part of the revolution of what's happening. You know, science has taken us so far. We're moving into Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini. I call this super learning. This is mental. This is mental, man. But the information I have tonight isn't about mental. How do you get to the outer planets? How do you get to access information that's beyond your mind? Think really fast. It's not going to be thinking. It's not our mind that's going to get there. It's consciousness. I had my first reading when I was 20 years old, about 30 years ago now, right, Lori? Plus 50. My sister Lucy gave it to me for a birthday present, and it changed my life. And I didn't wonder, how did she know I'm in sports? Well, there's balls all around the house. I didn't find that phenomenal. But what I found phenomenal, the model of astrology, that there's parts of my character beyond my mind that I can access, that there's parts of my being that I can't get to just by thinking. That just intrigued the heck out of me. And that's what I've been pursuing ever since, more consciousness work. And I think this era that we're in right now is probably going to lead to that. So when you have increased, no, what do we have on our planet right now? We have a couple of things happening other than astrology. The solar flares. Solar flares were said, I've been following them for a few years because that's the heavens. They're talking. So solar flares have been active, and they're said to peak 2 years ago, but they're still getting stronger. The cycle was said to peak 2 years ago, and now we're seeing solar flares, the aurora borealis in Florida. What does that do to the energy field that we're in? What do you think that does? Jacks it up. How many of us feel this jacked up energy? If you're not vibrating, sometimes you had too many gummies. 3-eye atlas. Kind of intriguing, isn't it? Just a comet? Well, it's mysterious enough that it gives us questions. Comets don't act like that. Comets don't change trajectory. Comets don't have this, that, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means, except it draws our attention to the mysterious, like, maybe we don't know everything. So this is a chart for this moment. It looks about as chaotic as we all feel, I bet, right? Oh, look at that. Doesn't that understand everything now? Yeah. I'd like to be able to isolate what's going on here. Tonight we're going to be talking about Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus moving from Taurus. This year, 2025, it was like a rehearsal. We had dress rehearsal until just last month, and then we had the Saturn, Neptune retrograde back into Pisces. How many Pisces people here are not afraid to admit it publicly? So, and then they're going to go back in, but has never in history has every planet in 1 year changed signs in the same year. Everybody knows that in this room. But what does that mean? It means a genuine shift in the energy field around us. And the field is quickening. And yes, the solar flares are quickening. Sleep isn't all what it's all cracked up to be, I don't think. But there's lots of incidents of this, of our awareness of things shifting. I'm going to tell a couple of stories of things that I've been getting into, like we all have. You hear oneness. Oh, we're all moving into oneness. It intrigues me, but I want to feel oneness. I like you, Justin, but I don't know what it's like to go home to your house then. I like that tree out there, but I've never had bark on my, I don't know what it feels like. And I contemplate this sometimes, like I was standing out my door and I was looking at this tree. It's like this kind of a day, moist, damp day, thinking, I believe in oneness, but I don't. How do I communicate with that tree? And I just couldn't. I was just amazed. But I looked down, and about 15 feet away from me, across my yard, there's a little sparrow chickadee, quite enchanted with me. I could tell he was looking at me because you can feel that when somebody's looking at you. And I was just filled with wonder. And honest to God, this little chickadee hopped 10 feet one direction, stopped, cock his head, look at me. 10 feet another direction, stop, cock its head, look at me. And it just kept going. It got to my sidewalk. Birds don't hop on sidewalk. This hopped on the sidewalk, over the porch door jamb, across my boot, turned around, stood next to me, looking out the door with me. And this was only a 2-second thing, but it looked up at me like, this is what you're seeing, huh? Cool. It took off. But that touched my heart a lot. It meant a lot. I've been feeding deers. I have deers all over the place. I've been thinking, people tell me that they can get deers to eat right out of their hands. I'm getting them this close. And they know me now on the property. We've got a nice sanctuary. It's kind of more trees and nature and modern stuff. So animals seem to like it. So I can see the deer across the yard and I can say apple, and they'll start walking up. Just the word apple. They communicate with the word. And if I show them an apple, they'll walk through a field of apples, Lori's seen it, to get the apple that I'm feeding. Because they're just as enchanted with my enchantment as I am with theirs. So I had these two experiences. And then one more. Our property is got lots of rabbits, wild rabbits. And rabbits are always been around, but they just scurry. You never really get to hang with them because they just scurry. And I was telling Lori a month or so ago, there's a rabbit that stops me on the trail and doesn't scurry. It just stops and looks at me. I told her about it. I said, that rabbit was staring at my eyes and wouldn't run. So I just stayed there, told her about it, then went back outside to meditate. I have a little deck. It was the summer when this was going on, sunny. And I'm sitting meditating, and after a few minutes, my head was just pulled, and there's that rabbit. It hopped over within 6 feet of me, got up on its haunches like a puppy, and stayed in that trance for a full 5 minutes. I was meditating, so I was no longer meditating here. Now I'm just meditating my heart, but it didn't move for 5 minutes. Anybody else have any interspecies communication? That's part of this woo-woo I'm talking about. We're all having some more woo-woo. I'm having things disappear, reappear, lost a pair of glasses. They're gone for weeks. Lori drives up to Seattle. She's been in this car. We've searched everything for weeks. She gets out in the car from her mom's house. There's my glasses sitting on the seat where she's sat for the last 2 weeks and not broken, but they're there. So what does that tell us about where we're going? Probably not too much. But it's interesting to me. When I think of, Pluto has a 250, well, 248 year orbit. When it moved into Aquarius, we can go back 1540. Anybody know what happened? Copernicus changed our worldview. Oh, the sun is the center. The earth isn't the center. Pluto moved into Aquarius. We discover that we're not the center of the universe. That's not what we thought. Heliocentric theory. 1776 to 1797. History buffs. American Revolution. It was the birth of democracy, the birth of democracy. And also 1781, Pluto's in Aquarius, Uranus. Some say Uranus, I say Uranus. I don't know. It's always been awkward to me, like getting that point in the beginning. We're going to talk about Uranus now, Andrew. And I see her squirm. So I say Uranus. But maybe Uranus is meant to make us squirm. So it moved in, and then in 23, what was it? The April 24th? About when it first moved in? What was launched? Chat GPT on the day. I mean, that's kind of a harbinger. Is that how you say that word of where we're going? Oh, artificial intelligence. Yeah, and all of a sudden it's ubiquitous. It's on every Google search I look at now. Here's your, Chat GPT information. Ask Siri, you want me to look at Chat GPT? It's everywhere. It's just all of a sudden, boom. Well, Pluto and Aquarius, I think of it as revolutionary. I mean, what did we revolt against in the 1776? Monarchies. We want to rule ourselves. We can take care of our own business. We don't need the king or the queen. Well, I don't think we have monarchies per se now, but aren't we're tired of being ruled by the corporate world, who's now the monarchies. They have the control, the power, the money. And I think that over the next several years, we're going to see a continual shift, grassroots, diversity through Aquarian spirit. So Uranus, 84-year orbit, we're going to talk about it. It moved in just earlier this year, moved into Gemini. It had been in Taurus. How does Uranus like Taurus? How does Taurus like Uranus as a house guest?
Not at all.
No, these two are not happy together. It's matched with our economy. Taurus deals with money, security, supply, probably inflation, probably tariffs, all this kind of thing. And we got Bitcoin from this. But I think Taurus it's like taking an eagle and putting it in a bathroom, closing the doors and windows and say, go enjoy yourself for the next 7 years. Well, Uranus said Gemini, the window opened. Eagle's free to soar. It's in an air sign now. Talking, connecting, interacting, thinking. It rules Aquarius. It's in perfect harmony. Uranus, that blue line there, that's called a trine. That's in harmony. Harmony means supporting each other's agenda. I'm calling this a time for super learning. Anything that you get fascinated with. And there's a Gemini attitude about learning. Gemini pursues what's fascinating. Uranus and Gemini says, should I learn accounting? That could really help me with my checkbook balancing. Oh, not fascinating. How about the telepathy tapes? Oh, I'm interested. So communicating with things we hadn't outside of our system. These are outer planets. OP means outer planet, means transpersonal. How many of you have an outer planet prominent in your chart? Touching sun, moon, or rising. I call you OPPs. You're outer planet people. You ain't normal. Because normal is consensus reality, living within Saturn. Outer planet people, they don't. They have a different perspective. Outer planet people can understand people in the consensus. Consensus people having a chance of understanding UOPPs. They have no reference to what you might be going through or experiencing. So I'm totally excited about Uranus and Gemini. Aren't we going to be communicating with our space brothers and sisters? I mean, isn't this a signature? Well, that's galactic. And then we get 3 AI. I'm intrigued about that. And I think anything I'm just trying to keep learning, pick up my guitar, get the Spanish app, just stretch those minds. The dendrites should be informed with this astrology. It's just food for the mind, right? And then I became more of the telepathy tapes. Have y'all heard the telepathy tapes? Let me see yes or no. How many yes? Okay, third. The rest of you, the telepathy tapes, free on Spotify. It's mind candy for where we're at. Mind candy. It's, communicating with that which we couldn't communicate with before or didn't communicate with before. That's what the telepathy tapes are about. A researcher started working with savant children who knew foreign languages without anybody teaching them, could play a piano, never seen one, and realized that she shifted her study to non-speaking autistic children. Because we didn't speak, we thought they had kind of dull brains. Turns out ain't necessarily so. Brilliant minds, often trapped in a body that can't formulate the words. So she taught them iPads, using iPad and letter boards. That's tedious communication to spell one letter at a time when your hand won't go where you want it to go. But they've been doing it. And each episode, well, just as an example, Rupert Sheldrake, who's the guy in San Francisco everybody likes. Anyway, the great researchers, scientific researchers world over are converging on this. We could have one of these children meet you, just to have an imprint. She meets you, we have a little imprint, and then we're going to put her outside, close the door, take her away from you, have one of these scientists hand you a random book. Have you open it up to a random page and read a random sentence, and she'll type the sentence you just wrote, the page it's on, and the book it came from. I mean, this gives me chills. And I just keep listening to these things over and over again. On and on and on, these stories of what we thought were potato heads. Turns out, non-speaking, but that doesn't mean not brilliant. There's stories about the elephants and animal communication that just will touch your heart. I just got to share a little bit. There's this animal whisperer, elephant whisperer, they called him. Obviously, he went to Africa. Him and his wife started a refuge for animals, for particularly elephants that either were wounded, needed rehab, or abandoned, whatever. And they got word that there was a tribe, or what you call it, a herd of elephants that had gone rogue and were causing havoc in a particular village. So they were going to get put down. Well, the animal whisperer and his wife went, tamed the elephants, communicated with them, brought them back to reserve, got them all cool. And they did this for 30 years. On the day that he died, elephants from days' journeys away paraded. I would cry if I tell the story. So you already know. They came and they went around his house for 2 days. For 2 days, just in a mournful, they got the sound of it, mourning the loss of their friend.
And came back 1 year today after he died.
Isn't that right? For the next 4 years, they came back on the birthday and had their ceremony of acknowledging their lost friend. Well, interspecies communication, how can that help us where we're going? Multisensory, how can that help us where we're going? Well, I think it helps us by helping us become more reverent for all of life. We hear these animal stories and we start forming reverence for all of life. Louder, Lori says. So I think that's why I'm so intrigued with this. And now, this is unique. These two planets. This is Saturn. Saturn was the last of the known planets up until 1800s, 1700s, excuse me. Last of the known planets, as far as we can see. And it represents all boundaries, limits. Saturn is what got you here on time. Saturn got you guys getting this tech thing set up. Oh, it talks in 5 minutes. Who helped you do that? Saturn. Blah, 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 blah. Push, pressure, real, 3D. That's Saturn. It's about as vague as a toothache. Neptune. What's Neptune? Neptune is dreams. How many of you people are having crazy, vivid dreams? I mean, what do they call it? Lucid dreaming. It feels like lucid dreaming to me. The dreams are, I've always dreamed. We all always dream, but haven't they intensified with Saturn coming across Neptune? These two are strange bedfellows. I mean, they're hanging together this year and next. Saturn, let's just keep things real. Let's keep things real. Neptune, what's real? What's not? Many people are having difficulty with this because Neptune seems to dissolve. I'm melting. My Saturn's melting. I have no ability. Neptune dissolves what it touches, dissolving some of our old structures. Or a lot of us use Neptune after work. I'll go to the bar, go home, puff a few, we'll get to Neptune. But that's like checking out of Saturn. But does Neptune have other qualities? What? Compassion, connection with Pisces. Neptune is a spiritual doorway. Neptune is the best of meditation. When you meditate, you're actually pretty good at quieting your mind. How many people can quiet their mind? It ain't easy, is it?
Practice, the practice.
Yeah, I think, is it Sally? Sally gives us the teaching. It ain't magic, it's practice. You got to train that mind to quiet down. That's why counting and breath worked pretty good. Just train the mind. If those of you who haven't meditated, how many feel that you should meditate more? I'm going to tell you that's the healthiest should you're going to feel today. To me, this Saturn Neptune is the linchpin. It's the key. We are in beautiful astrological outer planet astrology. I read the news today. I couldn't find much beautiful news. Where is it? You have to subscribe for that, the beautiful news channel. So this Saturn Neptune together is strange. It comes together every 36, 37 years. Last time was 1989. Time before that was 1953. Saturn and Neptune conjunctions have a very strange association with Russia. 1908. Oh, well, was it in 1800s? And Saturn Neptune conjunction, Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto. And then we had 1917, another Saturn Neptune conjunction, the Bolshevik Revolution. All of a sudden, they got rid of their mansion people who were living that kind of a life. 1953, Stalin died. 1989, the wall. And then in the next year, what happened to USSR? It ain't no more. It just dissolved. There wasn't a war. They call it the Velvet Revolution. There wasn't guns being fired in Hungary and Czechoslovakia and Romania. They didn't have to fire guns to get back. Russia just dissolved. So it has strange association for all of us. I would say this, if you are disciplined, there's a Saturn word. Is Saturn a bad planet? Well, now what's going to do? It isn't. But Saturn does demand what? It demands self-mastery, that's all. But also self-control, self-restraint, self-discipline in the sign that it's in. And those words aren't fun for most of us. But yet, so if you are disciplined with your connection to the spiritual source, you're going to get the best of what this is all about. You will rise, you're going to get information. If you're not disciplined, that's why most of us feel, I should really be meditating. I mean, didn't you see this energy coming? Didn't it want to make you become a better version of yourself? How many people can say that? You just felt, I did, started that look at this thing. I'm gonna have to become a better version of myself. I don't have to be different, just a better version of myself. I listened to Pam Gregory. We all like Pam Gregory, right? She's one of our world's favorite YouTube astrologers. And I like Gary Zukav. Do you ever listen to him? I get up in the morning and I go to my church. It's YouTube. And I listen to all my favorite speakers that inspire me and motivate me. And Gary Zukav wrote The Seed of the Soul in 40 years ago, one of the pioneers. But he's on a campaign right now on YouTube. He's all over it. They might have 20 different talks, but it's all the same talk. And he says that there's a new human evolving. Pam Gregory and others will say it's a new earth forming. There's a new human forming. In my sense, I don't think it's new. I think it's a better version of who we are. I think it's Gary Zukav has a simple way. He says, each day we're all in this, we're working with this energy together. All of us, working with trying to rise up above our muck and get up into our higher self. He says, every day the choice is the same. Is it going to be fear or love? I get it energetically. The words don't work for me. I don't have much fear. And I don't love everything. But I have awareness of those that die out. I can feel constricted or open. I feel I have that choice every day. I can be open and accepting or fearful and tight. That's what I use as my monitor. So Saturn and Neptune have gone into Aries already, from early spring through early fall. Now they've retrograded back into Pisces. So we're reviewing material we've already gone over. And aren't most of us specifically aware what your issues are that you need to work on to let go of your hooey, to get better with your woo-woo? I mean, specifically. I'm getting affirmations. I mean, it's not vague, right? Like Saturn's about as vague as a toothache. I wonder where it hurts. What's a toothache? It hurts right there. So Saturn and Neptune, how many people have worked with, every sign has its high road or low road. You know, it's got its best and not so best. You know, we'd like Sagittarians enthusiasm, but we wish they weren't so loud and interfering all the time. Pisces, we love their spirituality, their compassion. How you doing with guilt and shame? Anybody get those hits? Self, I should be further along. I should be meditating more. How many people are guilting themselves and shaming themselves? That's a Pisces issue. But whatever your issue is, it should specifically let you know. And you do the work today and then it's done, right? Once and done. Oh, no, it isn't. You're laughing. It's more like rinse and repeat, right? Rinse and repeat daily. Okay, you did that yesterday. Oh, I got over that. I forgave them, forgave myself, and repeat. I think what we're doing is clearing for the next month. We want to clear as much of that as we can over this next month so we can get to this place. So Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, we take compassion. How many people feel periodically the compassion for all the suffering that's going on in the world? Whether it be animals or children in Gaza, or whether it be hunger in Seattle. I mean, it's not healthy to, it's healthy to feel that, but it's not healthy to carry that, right? I crudely say 2 drowning people aren't better than 1. I mean, you want to touch in, but you don't want to hang out there because you can't do much good. And yet we're going to be aware of that during this Saturn, Neptune, Pisces. We are all together. If you're suffering, if somebody in my family is suffering, y'all know this? Do y'all know you're all empaths, whether you want to be or not? If one of your children or one of your family members going through, how was your morning? How you feeling? Are you feeling that? You're going to feel it too. So I have a practice I've told y'all, but it still works with Pisces. Feel it, bless it, release it. Be honest to the emotion. I say bless it. I just add compassion, bring it up to my heart chakra. I work at the chakras, and then release it out through the crown chakra. Feel it, bless it, release it. Please. No, that's a feeling of that. Trumpet, I will repeat her question for the benefit of the audience. What's your name again, please? She's bringing it up that food benefits are being cut for people that are school kids. The SNAP program, we used to call it food stamps in our generation, I think. I think it's the same. And they're being cut. Is that a Pisces thing? Mm. Well, I think it's more indicative of a personality than the sign, the personality that might be behind that. But as these planets move into Aries, as they did in Pisces, what does Pisces do? The world sucks. What do we do? What can I do? Pray. Jesus, help us. Baby Jesus, we need you now. I mean, I'm being silly. But isn't that what we do? We pray. Well, when these planets move into Aries, what does Aries do? Take action. Don't pray. You got animal rights issues, go to the forest, help, volunteer, contribute, send donations, action. So Saturn, now we have Saturn moved into Aries. And it's, believe it or not, it is the mitigating force that's helping us not go totally ballistic. What does Saturn seek to do? Control. Saturn in Aries, 1908, the FBI was formed to help control the mafia crime that was going on. 1927, Firearms Act. 1967, that was Saturn in Aries. Muhammad Ali says, I refuse to fight. I'm not going. I don't have anything against the brown man. Lost his title, went to prison. But that's Saturn in Aries. So I'm thinking, well, this is going to curb some of this. But what's Neptune in Aries? Neptune is what we glamorize as a culture. Well, it was in Pisces, we glamorized our spiritual beings and our saintly folks. In Aries, what do we glamorize? Huh? The warrior. Aries rules the warrior. The strong man. That we're seeing the disease of the strong man around the world, not just here. Strong men imposing the. So Neptune in Aries, last time it hit, 1861. Relevant period in US history? Civil War. It happened within a week, a few days. Neptune moved into Aries, the war started. And the North or the South, neither had any difficulty coming up with enlistments, right? Because people were so enamored. They're glad to send their Johnny off to vanquish the enemy. The naivete of that era, there's stories written, I'm sure you've seen them, of families having picnics out on the battlefields to watch this delightful battle. It probably didn't turn out to be so delightful as they continued, but that's Neptune in Aries. So yes, there is that concern. I'm not, and what was Uranus in 1860s? Gemini. So yeah, oh boy. But we can't use history exclusively with astrology because things don't repeat themselves. As Mark Twain says, history doesn't repeat itself, it often rhymes. But it doesn't repeat. We're not going in flat orbits. We're spiraling around a moving sun that is moving through the galaxy at how many million miles in a second? We're not in the same space that we were back then. But yet these themes are relevant. So we do go back and take a look. Please. Okay, let me play with that. I'll repeat that. Help me with your name again. Really blurt it out. Really blurt out your name for me. Darlene is reminding us, says, well, okay, we're talking about civil war, but wouldn't Neptune help us dissolve that, see the folly of that, the illusion of that? So what about consciousness people? Have we heard this talk, spiritual warrior? So Aries, Neptune, spiritual, Aries, warrior. What does spiritual warrior look? Let's, what?
Fighting in the spirit realm instead of physical. Right?
Remember, they can't hear you out there on Zoom.
Okay, and so we're hearing that it's fighting in the spirit realm and it's fighting for spiritual issues. But spiritual warrior to me is each of us have a higher self and a lower self. And as I said, we're bobbing in and out of this awakened, illuminated state. It's not one and done. It's, as I joke, yeah, enlightened today, asshole tomorrow. I mean, don't you know it? I mean, I had such a blissful moment yesterday, and I'm so pissed today. Well, both are true, right? And I think that's trying to accept the wholeness of what we are. To me, the spiritual warrior is identifying my lower parts of my character when they come up and choosing not to act on them. And choosing, as Gary Zukov said, choose love. Well, I don't always choose love, but I choose openness. I choose expansion. So I'm using three. I liked David. What's his name? Got the energy scale. David Hawkins energy scale. I had Lori make me a beautiful card so I can follow, have it on my desk when I get in the lower states. I can identify him and just flip it. He says, just let it go and return. But simply, this comes from it, but I use three to rise up to these days: willingness, acceptance, gratitude. If you're going to take any notes, those three words, you got my talk. Willingness, what's that? As Saturn goes into Aries, Neptune goes into Aries, where can we, who do we get to blame when it's all your fault? Who do you get to blame, Laura, in this new model? Well, you don't want to blame anybody. You take responsibility, Saturn, for Aries, your choices, your life. Actually, Saturn work is your relationship with authority. When we're kids and grandkids, well, I've got grandkids, now 2 great grandkids this year. Some benefit of getting older. So where are we going with that?
Authority.
Authority. Mom and dad are authority early in life, and then school teachers, bosses, managers. Thank you. And then hopefully 28 to 30. Wait a minute, Saturn return. I'll be my own boss. So let me ask you where you're at with Saturn right now. 4 questions. Are you self-defined or other-defined? Who's the boss of you? Who gives you permission to live your life the way that you choose? Who do you answer to? And if it's anything external, Saturn is heavy, burdensome. I have to do it. If you are self-defined, Saturn is focus. It's like how many people feel like they're self-defined? So you're working with people and clients that aren't, you're probably helping them get more self-defined. I mean, it's part of our work. It's your life. It's your choices, brother. Let's make good ones. So this Saturn and Aries energy, the test of it, if you're going to do it, choose to do it. I wash the dishes in our family of 2 now. We had 23 for Thanksgiving. The family's growing. But there's just 2 of us at home now. But at night, Lori, after we have dinner, I like her to sit with me. She has Venus in Virgo. If she goes in the kitchen, I might not see her till tomorrow. I say, you sit with me. Maybe we'll snuggle, maybe we'll watch a movie, but let's just hang. And I promise I'll get up crazy early. I'll listen to my books and I'll do the dishes. And I'm glad to do it. That's willing. What's the difference between willing and, oh, who left these dishes? Now I got to do the dishes. If you don't fight against yourself. Don't make your life a burden. Oh, I have to. Choose to. If you're going to do it, choose to do it. Big message for the next 3 years. If you're going to do it, choose to do it. That's willingness. Acceptance. We all have to work with this one a lot, I bet. It's kind of like the AA thing. Give me the wisdom to accept things that I can't control. I mean, millions of years of creating this mind thing that we have here, this incredible organism. And when I'm fretting about things that I don't have any control over, is that good psyche management? How does it feel when you're fretting about something you have no control over? It feels crap. It feels energetically crap. You just go in the tank. So acceptance, and I practice that a lot. Acceptance, how many things can't I control? Well, I can't even control my cat. So acceptance, and I practice that every day, just to accept, to have the grace of accepting the things that I can't control, that aren't up to me. Not up to me what the government does tomorrow. I can't. And then gratitude. That's the quickest shift, right? We all know that. Gratitude. And we all have something to be grateful for. Being grateful for being alive. The mystery, the magic of why am I alive? Why? The universe doesn't need me. Why am I here? Just being filled with the wonder, the mystery of why. Well, get into gratitude, people you love, healthy body if you have one, or that releases the feel-good hormones in the body. I mean, energetically, it just feels different. And the Heart Math Institute has done a tremendous amount of work. Have you followed them, the Heart Math Institute? And isn't that a bit what we're talking about today? I think we're in again, part of my punchline for tonight, we're in a silent kindness revolution. That the revolution that we're going through, the revolution that this discussion's about, isn't it just simply moving towards kindness, being kinder? Would that have any shift on the planet if we were kinder with each other? Wouldn't it? Yeah. It's not a big PR word. It's not going to show up in the news. He was kind to his neighbor yesterday. Yay. No, but this is what's going to shift. How would we treat each other if we were kind? Would we be able to figure out world problems easier if we were kinder to each other? So this heart math, breathing from the heart-centered breathing. I was listening to Dr. David Clements. He says that the heart is the connection to source intelligence. But we got all this air sign, all this intellect. Shouldn't we study and read more books and know more information? Well, maybe. But isn't it dropping into the heart? For many of us, it's dropping down to the heart because we're head-centered. And many people, it's coming up to the heart because they're still in their lower chakras. But it's the same. To me, that's where the healing is going to be. I don't think we can figure out how to heal our world individually. I don't think it's going to be a figure out kind of deal. But I think we can figure out how to live with each other with these principles. So if I isolate these three, Saturn and Neptune coming together at 0 degrees of Aries. It's never happened before. This is called the world point, the start point, get back in front of the camera point. We're on the precipice. Don't we feel it? How many people just feel that we're on the precipice of something big? And we can't really define it, can you, Bob? Or it just
There's only part. Too many moving parts.
too many moving parts.
You
Well,
don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So Saturn and Neptune, 0 degrees of Aries. Those of you who have planets at 0 to 5 degrees of any sign are going to be more activated this next year. So then what happens in July? Well, Well, I haven't got my computer. We had a little technical moment, so I'm looking at something else, but I remember what's happening. Uh, mm, mm. Don't you feel it energetically when something works for you or not? I mean, there was a question that was just directed to me. I could feel my body tighten energetically. It just, we have to get better. I say we have to become more spiritually wise, just noticing. Mindfulness, what's mindfulness? Isn't it just noticing our thoughts all throughout the day? And I call notice when I go in the energy tank and notice specifically what was that thought? What was that issue in that moment? It's not vague. If you're watching, it's very specific. What brought you into that lower energy place? And that's the work that we do each and every day. This, I call it rinse and repeat. You know, it's not like, well, I fixed that yesterday and now, well, let's fix it again tomorrow, the next day, but we get better at it. So Jupiter, we're talking so cosmic. Jupiter's in Cancer. Isn't it more interested in apple pie? I mean, brownies, ice cream. Jupiter is in Cancer. Where's growth, bounty, abundance, opportunity for us all right now? Cancer, home, house, family, nurturing. Hasn't it been a tonic for our families? How many people have felt some family improvement? Over the last few years, from COVID to the divisiveness of politics, families were going through splits. Beautiful families couldn't be around each other. Jupiter in Cancer, the kids are coming home. We're coming home to our families. That nurturing, that nest, that comfort, that food, that do-it-yourself projects around the house. So I think that's a lovely balance point that's going on. Or is it anybody seeing this in their families? Can I see anybody getting family healings? Family improved?
Yeah, like you're saying. Jupiter success, family to Saturn. Success.
Yeah. So then in July, we get Jupiter moving into Leo. As Jupiter moves into Leo, it's going to be exactly opposite Pluto. And is it July 20th? I haven't got my notes right here. Yes, I do. Look at them. July 18th to 20th. Jupiter into Leo, 4 degrees. Saturn, Neptune, 4 degrees. Pluto, 4 degrees. Uranus, 4 degrees. I mean, it's a beautiful trapezoid. We've got the opposition with harmony aspects, all supporting it. And you could spend time with each of these. I mean, Neptune and Uranus in a sextile with each other. Well, this is innovative, creative spirituality. How many new forms of spirituality are forming? How many of us have tried herbal or psychedelics or different beliefs? When I was a kid, if you were spiritual, it meant you probably went to church. How many different avenues are there now to answer that question? Hasn't it just what is spiritual, what is not? So Jupiter into Leo, I bet you Mick Jagger has Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter in Leo sounds like the rooster walk, doesn't it? Don't we gotta see the Mick Jagger rooster walk? And I think so. Jupiter in Leo is expansion of what? What? Say it louder.
Hard.
The harem.
See. and like being exposed, being out in public instead of Leo, like the sun.
Excellent, excellent. So Jupiter in Cancer is kind of introspective. Our culture has not understood water sign people. We love fire sign people. Their enthusiasm, they're great. We love those air sign people. They're brainiacs. I love their books. Love those earth sign people. Look at the cool stuff they build. You water sign people, you're just too sensitive. How many people grew up with strong water in their chart and were told, don't have to feel so much. Don't feel so much. Don't feel so much. You'd be okay if you just weren't so sensitive. It's like telling a fish, just don't get so wet. The water signs process through feeling first. It is the mode. So Jupiter goes into Leo, extrovert, expression. What's Jupiter opposite Pluto? What kind of power? Social. Jupiter opposite Pluto fuels ambition. Ambition. But it's not to make more money. We're moving out of earth and water. We're moving into fire and air. How many of us feel less attached to our stuff? That we don't need as many things. I don't need as big a house. I don't need that much storage. How many of us feel that? Right? That's we're not going to drag all our stuff with us wherever we're going. But Jupiter opposite Pluto is ambition not to let life pass you by. I'm getting old now, but I might get old later. Well, I better get to Africa and see that safari pretty soon then. I mean, that's Jupiter opposite Pluto. Did you buy that, Laura? And it can be thought of as the billionaire aspect and people who are greed and just going for that. But I think it's also, since we're going to get a lot of harmony, Jupiter will be in harmony to Uranus. Highly innovative intuition. Intuition, Uranus, all the outer planets, we are so learning so much about them, right? When the outer planets were first discovered and thought about, what kind of literature was written about them? They're trouble. They're just trouble. Trouble for what? The ego and the way that you want things controlled. But for spiritual people and consciousness, the outer planets are the yummies. That's, information beyond myself. Intuition, sudden knowing, flashes of insight. We call Mercury and Uranus the higher octave of Mercury. Do you think that we just think faster with Uranus? It's a different kind of intelligence, isn't it? Uranian people, how many people have strong Uranus in your chart? I call you evolutionary agents in the lives of other people. You help people wake up. Uranus is always doing that, helping people move beyond their limitations, their restrictions, what's holding them back. So Jupiter will also be in trine to the Neptune. What do we call planets when you have a challenging aspect and you have harmonious planets on both ends? Mediating planets. That tension that's created there can be redirected to these higher creative forces. For artists and spiritual seekers, could you imagine more delicious astrology than Saturn, Neptune? I was listening to Ajay Shanti. He's one of the speakers, you know him? Meditation teacher. And he's talking on one of his tapes in the morning. I'm listening. He's saying, isn't it interesting how many meditators use their breath, their mantra, to quiet the mind, calm the body so they can get out and above and into the realm of spirit. And I wondered, where's he going with that? That is what I do. That's my practice. That's what I work on. So I wonder where he's going. He says, compare that to the story of when Jesus was baptized. It says the symbol of that moment was the descent of the spirit dove into the body. Isn't that different? It gave me a delicious way. I still try to get out of my mind and get above my mind, but then I don't stay there. Before I close, I breathe that back down into my body, back down into my heart. Try to let every cell in my body. I want to become an embodiment of that spirit rather than escape my body to get to spirit. So it's Neptune coming in. If we do this work, will things just immediately get lighter and brighter? We got to flush out a lot of toxin. We can breathe that in, but we still have to flush out old patterns, old hurts, the denser karma that we've carried from just being in a earth and water era, heavier, denser karma. Well, where the rubber meets the road is when that lower crap comes up and you don't give voice to it or act on it. Instead, choose love, choose higher, choose open. It's in that moment. Isn't that the work that we're all doing? And it's pretty specific for us all right now about I can see what created my karma, the stuff that pulls me down, but I can also not give voice to that, recognize, well, that, and not judge myself. Otherwise, we got the guilt and shame stuff cooking, which is then what does that do with your energy? It pushes it down again.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. Alchemy. That's what we're doing. Well, my friends, please. Saturn's not quite in a tight orbit in July. It's moved on to a few degrees past that. She wants to know when Jupiter's in Leo, we got all those 4, where will Saturn be? Will it be at 4? No, it has moved on a little bit. I think it's about 11 degrees by then. Is it what going to get louder?
Especially when it comes to the Leo's energy. It's still the fire, when Saturn is in Aries, to me, that's like harsh despotism that gets put them out conscious. Restrictions.
Well, Saturn can be and is being demonstrated as so. We see some of our world leaders use despotism or, just that. But remember, Saturn restrains, limits. It's in history, it's 1967. Draft dodgers, not going to war. That's Saturn in Aries. 1993, I think it was. 1989. No, I haven't got the date. UK, Saturn in Aries banned handguns. Same year, 5 days later, Australia had the biggest buyback of weapons. See, historically, Saturn has seemed to help curtail. We do have the Neptune glorification for some people of that Aries despotism, strongman archetype. When I look at the current politics, and I choose not to go political tonight. You can hear that. No, I want to work with consciousness. I can't influence how people vote, or I can't influence what's going to go there. I want to work more with consciousness. But when I look at what's going on in the world, I don't see it reflected. It's not what I would have predicted with this kind of astrology, moving together, outer planets moving together in harmony and seeing what's gone on. I don't think there's I don't think there's that support for that. But my talk isn't political. My talk is about consciousness tonight. I think that's what I can contribute that's not being talked about enough. That these, in terms of for people who are interested in consciousness growth, these times are as ripe as I've ever seen for us to expand our awareness. What is consciousness growth? Becoming conscious of what we weren't conscious of before. So thank you all for coming. I wish you a nice holiday season. And may you be kind to each other. Join the kindness revolution. Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks
Yes,
for joining in.
I forgot to
see-
put in my hearing aids, so I'm back there. Like,
Give me a second here before I, thanks, David.
Turned out full, man. I call them marriage aids.
Steve was so tired of hearing me go, wow.
Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Kind of dug there at the end there. It's the consciousness thing. Um, it's good to hear that. There's so much out there video wise, and we have our favorite lectures and all different people, but
Can't hear what's going on down in there.
hey, can you hear me?
It's just a miracle to see you walking and talking and breathing. I haven't seen you in over 35 years.
Hey, let me mute them right there. Just so you know, I'm not for sure yet, but considering the video, I have to figure it out. But I think it's going to go up on the YouTube channel. I have to talk to the president. But just so you know, give me a second. I'm going to put that up, the link in the chat. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, we're going to be doing more on there. But there's in the chat, there's a link to the YouTube channel. Press subscribe. From what I know, possibly after things are done, this could be available publicly or as an unlisted link later on. I'm going to ask here, but from our conversation earlier today, considering this was free, I think this is going to go up on the channel for people to view. But I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm going to say a couple of things before we leave. I'm going to put our website in the chat. If you are not a member, I'm not pushing you to become a member, but we have a great program. Our seasons usually run from September to June. They're all hybrid for the most part. You can do them in person, but online. Here's the link. I also want to tell you that two different resources right now. I don't know how I make myself the main speaker on this thing, but whatever. So, give me a second. Yeah. So saying that, right now, the Northwest Astrology Conference that Laura Nalbandian runs happens every Memorial Day, just outside of Seattle. Right now,
Nicholas, can you hear
yes,
me?
I can hear you. Yes.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to log out.
Mhm.
You guys can still go on and discuss.
Okay.
I don't see too many faces, but those faces I see, was great to see you all. You can't see me because the camera's off. That's right. Never mind. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. See you, Laura. Let me press stop recording. All right, what I was getting to, it's funny Laura chimed in because she runs the Northwest Astrological Conference, but I'm going to throw a link in the chat. And currently right now, The conference has two applications like to head to the conference basically. And so one of us are diversity scholarships that are happening right now. The application period's happening here until the end of the beginning of January. And then we have another type of scholarship application. If you were thinking about going to the conference online or in person, it's to help those who might need help. And I'll throw this link in the comments. This is to, you'll see it in the chat. It's norwac.net/scholarships. There's a virtual scholarship application. So if you wanted to go to the conference and attend it virtually, you can apply to get a scholarship to do this. And then there's diversity scholarship that we've been doing at the conference for more than a Saturn square cycle. It's like 8-9 years now. And you know, the diversity scholarships is something that we fund publicly and donations from people who go to NORWAC and many other people. But I will just say this on the screen. I'll actually share this so you guys can understand what I'm doing here. I'll share this on the screen. You could see here our application for NORWAC. They get 15 in-person registrations. Qualified applicants can be physically challenged, a member of historically marginalized ethnic, gender, sexual minority, or be over the age of 60, or an intersection of all or any of the above. Those scholarships applications are going on right now. So I just want to let all of you know, if you know somebody who would possibly benefit from this or who could qualify for this, that's what's happening. Our other scholarships, I could see the page here. It's a virtual scholarship application. If you need financial assistance, the NORWAC's doing 20 full or virtual registrations. Again, you can apply for this too if you wanted to go to the virtual part of the conference at the end of May of next year. The other thing I want to let you know is the Washington State Astrological Association does something very similar to this. And this is going to happen in January. So please go to the website, sign up. If you're not a member, sign up, or you could follow our social media. Put those links here in the comments too. We'll be announcing in January our own version of scholarships. Usually the way we do it, there's a certain type of stipend. If somebody qualifies and is voted by the board to have a scholarship, you could use it towards the purchase of a conference or an astrological piece of software. You could use it to take a class. Maybe there's a particular program and teacher that you like. We in the past have given scholarships to people and they've used funds from our account as we are a non to do it, to apply. So basically that's officially going to get announced in January. Okay. So I wanted to let you know about all that. All right. And those are things I'm involved in and kind of help out with, amongst other things in the astrological world. If you have any questions about anything, you can throw it in chat or hit us up on the stuff here. Let me throw this too. If you are on Facebook, you can follow us there. I'll put that in the link here before I leave. There's in the chat, it's our Facebook link. And then I will find Instagram, which we're active on. I'll put that on the chat. Please go follow us. And you'll see, our announcements for upcoming lectures. I think Jen Zart's going to speak for us in February. We have Colin for Bedell in January, and we're kind of doing the final approval for the rest of the season. You can see all that kind of stuff. You sign up for our newsletter on the website. We send newsletters out, several times a month, all that kind of thing. And I'll put that back, main website in the chat. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll hang out here for a little bit more and then get to looking back at transits. So, yeah. But yeah, thanks for everybody for jumping in tonight, okay? And if it was your first time coming to the group, it's welcome. Welcome to the Washington State Astrological Association. By the way, pretty much one of the oldest local astrological orgs in the United States, with a pretty deep history. And here we are. So I'll hang on. I see some people here still that I know in Zoom here right now. It's good to see you here. I'm looking at chat. No problem, Mackenzie. Thanks for being here. Alicia and Trish, Michelle, no problem. Um, hey, Linda, good to see you. Hey, stranger. Um, hey, hey, Linda. Here, Linda, you want to say hi for a second? Can you, will it let you unmute? I think it does.
Sure.
Hey,
Hello,
Linda.
everybody. Good to
Hi.
see you.
Yeah. Linda, you got a connection to the Pacific Northwest and the astrology community, yes?
I sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a member.
Yeah. So good to see you, Linda. Linda currently is president of the NCGR, one of the main orgs. One of the main orgs that's helped putting on a UAC conference next September in Chicago. So it's good to see you, Linda.
You too. Thanks, Nicholas.
Yeah. And I'm saying hello to Chad, Vanessa, first time attending from Port Townsend. Vanessa, glad you made it here. Say hi to the beautiful Port Townsend winds that come through there. But yeah, I see several other people in here, but yeah, again, you're welcome to come to any of our lectures. Member or not, you can join. I mean, you can join. If you do join as a member, you get access to certain things. One of the biggest things too is if you come to future lectures or workshops that we do, you get them at a discounted rate, that kind of thing too. So a bunch of other stuff. And I think that's it. I think this Mercury in Gemini might be running out of words. Um, to everybody, I hope you have a good night and a good weekend, okay? And a great holiday month, all right? Till next time, see you later.